Who's ready for a game? I am. How about a simple game of keep, trade, cut? This is where we take 3 NFL players and we're going to pit them against each other, and we are going to decide between those 3 who to keep, who to trade, who to cut. What do you think about that, Jake?
Yeah, let's do it. It's a great game.
We're going to do the first group of guys right now. This is all wide receivers. This is Alec Pierce, Romeo Doubs, DJ Moore. All these guys have faced some sort of change this offseason. Romeo Doubs and DJ Moore obviously are in new places. Romeo Doubs is on the Patriots, DJ Moore is on the Bills, and Alec Pierce stayed with the Colts, but now he's making nearly $30 million a year and Michael Pittman's not there. It's a very interesting group of guys. What's sticking out to you, Jake? What's like an obvious one to you?
I like DJ Moore. I'm gonna be honest.
You like DJ Moore? Keeping DJ Moore?
I think I'm keeping DJ Moore, and that's just because there's really no one else on his team outside of Khalil Shakir that I think can do anything. Well, I should say out of all the wide receivers, because he's on the Bills now, right? And that's pretty big news for that team. I think DJ Moore is a great wide receiver, and he could step up and be their number one in the core. So for that reason, I would take a chance on DJ Moore, and I would keep him. Yeah, I
want to say the same. I'm a big DJ Moore guy. I've been preaching that for years, and I love DJ Moore, and I would want to keep him. And maybe this is a little bit of bias because of just how I have him in my current dynasty team right now, but maybe because the fact that he's on the Bills now, and he does have Josh Allen, and there is sort of like a luster to that, to where people will take a chance on him. There is a part of me that just kind of wants to trade him. That does just kind of want to trade him. Because we've seen this before. The Bills sent Stephon Diggs. They have not shown a willingness to go out and get guys. I mean, they went out and got DJ Moore, but they have not shown a willingness to try to turn anybody into a one in their offenses.
Sure.
The name that comes to mind for me is Amari Cooper. Remember when that big trade happened and everybody was like, oh my gosh, Amari Cooper. He's going to be like top 10, top 15 wide receiver rest of season, and nothing.
Yeah, I do feel like he's pretty similar to DJ Moore in a sense. You know, they both kind of throughout their careers have had that wide receiver one, outlook on them, and they're both. DJ Moore's also a veteran, kind of. He's a little younger than, Amari Cooper, but yeah, I think you're right, Kyle. I could see that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, will the Bills actually take hold of who they have and work him into the system, like, well enough for him to be a fantasy asset?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like they need to. The thing is, though, they need to do that.
They kind of have
to do better in the season. They have to have somebody. But
they need to be better. They need to use him, and he's definitely a lot better than Amari Cooper was when they got him.
Right. And they switched up. They have a new head coach that can shake some things around. Granted, it's the offensive coordinator that's been there for a little while, right?
Yeah, it's the offensive coordinator still there. The offense is still planned to be the same. But for me, I think it's partially that. But it's also partially because I'm starting to sell myself on Alec Pierce a little bit, which it's a risky one. I understand controversial name right now in fantasy of where he should be ranked, where you should see him.
He's always been kind of like up and coming riser, sleeper guy.
I think there are a lot of people projecting that he's going to get overhyped, overdrafted. For me, it's just more of, I've seen the steady improvement from year to year. He's gotten a little bit better every season. He managed to get 1,000 yards this year on 47 catches. 47. That's
Yeah.
in a hypothetical world where you're getting paid this money and Michael Pittman is gone. All you need is 20 to 30 more catches, and all of a sudden you could be seen in a much higher light. The dude was already wide receiver 28 at the end of last season. It's not a crazy idea if he can keep that sort of level of consistent yards per catch, that 20 plus yards per catch he was getting. Not a crazy idea that if he gets an increased role, he could find his way into the top 15 of wide receivers, maybe even the top 10 in a healthy season.
Yeah. I'm with you.
It's incredibly, it is risky, but
it's risky.
He's a younger player.
But yeah, and the team's been making moves to kind of pave the way for him.
Yeah.
You know, no more Michael Pittman. Right. And that's huge. That opens the door to like who will be the next wide receiver 1 on the team. Right? Is it gonna be Alec? Is it gonna be
Tyler Warren?
Tyler Warren? Yeah, of course. Tyler Warren is there. I was thinking of the other wide receivers. We have freaking who's that guy?
They have Josh Downs.
Josh Downs.
It's yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, it's but he is more of a he's more of a slot guy, I feel like. Smaller, or he could play the slot role. Obviously, we kind of know Alec Pierce's role too, right?
Yeah.
He's the long bomb guy. That's what
he's long bomb.
He has been, and that's what he's probably going to continue to do unless unless he kind of takes over for Michael Pittman and becomes the X guy. I could see that. We'll see what happens though. But yeah, I like that take.
Unfortunate for Doubs, even though he's going to a new place and he's been paid all this money. A couple things. Just me thinking of him more as a wide receiver too, and the fact that he's going to a team that we saw last year. They don't need to really have a true number 1 to be a great offense. He could be pretty good this year. He could have his best season overall because of the upgrade on the roster on the offense. But for me, I'm not a Romeo Doubs guy.
Fair. You know what's crazy is Sleeper has their depth charts, for every team. They have Romeo as the wide receiver 1.
Sure. Yeah. Just because you're the wide receiver 1 doesn't always mean you're going to feel like one.
Yeah. That's true.
And that's just more my argument there.
I don't even know who's been there. Wide receiver 1, like
they got Booty, they got Hollins, they got.
It always switches though too.
Yeah,
I mean, on the Patriots, yeah, because they don't really have they throw the ball all over the place. So yeah, he's going to be tough to trust in fantasy for sure. I think. But I am really interested in seeing how they use him. I've always like kind of loved Romeo from a distance.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested a little bit.
Always been a decent. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, we got more guys to get through. How about we go to the quarterbacks now? We go to a trio of quarterbacks that kind of fall on the same line right now. We've got Keep Trade Cut, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Jaxson Dart. My first thought is that I would cut Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Nothing against Justin Herbert. Again, these are all good players. I think Justin Herbert, he's now been there for a while. We've kind of seen we've seen like what the best of Justin Herbert's probably going to be in fantasy and what his lowest points are. And I think with Bo Nix and Jaxson Dart, there's still some room. For Jaxson Dart, there's a lot of room for growth. For Bo Nix, I still see room for him to get better.
Yeah. I agree. I think you got to take the team account into perspective, right? And the moves that these teams are making. I really like Bo Nix because of how much depth they now have at wide receiver.
Yeah.
with the new move they made to get Jalen Waddle. I think that's pretty interesting. And that's kind of been their thing. Like, Bo Nix has always produced, even when he hasn't had great receivers. Imagine this team with like decent, halfway decent receivers, man. It's gonna be pretty fun to watch, I think, and Bo Nix is gonna do really well.
Dude, I feel like I'm going crazy. That the fact that I'm with you on this. The fact that I probably would
Yeah,
want to keep Bo Nix, despite the fact of how frustrating he was last year, how
yeah,
insanely annoying it was. But he's on a team that is just so consistently good all across the team. Their defense is great. Sean Payton is
yeah,
there. It's a team that on paper looks to be super young and can be, a contending team for years to come.
mm-hmm.
And we've seen him at his best consistency moments in his rookie year. We've seen him in his very frustrating second year. So if he can
Mm-hmm.
find a bit more of that in the first year, he would be a quarterback that most people would want. And I think Jaxson
Yeah,
Dart, it sucks because I would want to keep Jaxson Dart because there's so much upside there. But maybe
yeah,
because there is so much upside, but he's still playing for a team like the Giants, that the team
mm-hmm.
around him could end up failing him over the next few years. And you have to think when you're talking about quarterbacks, who's more likely to keep their job? Bo Nix is more set
Yeah,
up to keep his job on his team than Dart
right,
is long term. Dart, maybe you just trade now to be like he's the hot QB going into next season.
exactly. Yeah, it will be his second season, so it's still honestly kind of up in the air. They've made a lot of different offensive moves, like for his weapons. They almost, they have a lot of different wide receivers now. They Darnell Mooney, Calvin Austin, those guys weren't on the team last year, and they're, my opinion, you know, not elite level receivers. He does have Malik Nabers, but I do think his hype is high enough for how much he's shown in the league that you can trade him off, you know, um, in the off season, or even maybe if the season starts and he starts to look good, because we really don't know how he will do long term. We haven't seen him long enough,
Yeah.
right? But there's a lot of hype behind him, and understandably so. With Malik Nabers being, you know, out of all these quarterbacks, I think Malik Nabers is probably the best wide receiver one that a quarterback could have, out of these guys, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
He's pretty good. So,
I think we set it up pretty good there. I think it ends with keep Bo Nix, trade Jaxson Dart, cut Justin Herbert.
yes.
I think that's a
Yeah,
solid setup. How about wide
I think
receivers
so.
though? What about some wide receivers? Let's move down a little bit here. How about keep trade cut Chris Olave, Nico Collins,
Mm,
George Pickens.
dang.
I'm trading George Pickens. I'm
Yeah,
trading
I
George
think I think everyone would probably
because the
trade
ultimate
George Pickens.
thing that you would want as an owner is for him to stay on the Cowboys. And
Yeah.
if it's this season, cool. I don't think it's gonna be past this season. There's no way he's sticking on
Yeah.
the Cowboys. There's no way they're paying him an insane amount of money when they already have CeeDee Lamb, who is, by the
Mhm.
way, CeeDee Lamb. Where are you? Where are you, my guy? But it's just he's gonna end up being the one somewhere, and it's likely gonna be on a worse team. It's likely gonna be on a
Yeah.
worse football team that won't be as good. Even if you would want to it would be harsh to cut any of the other two receivers, but you want to trade George Pickens because this is the most valuable he's probably going to be maybe career.
Mm, yeah, it's massive. The hype is crazy coming off this last season. You got to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And yeah, the riskiness is another huge reason you want to trade him. And dude, that guy just like talks so much. It seems like every team he's on, they
He's
they don't want to keep him long term, but he's a good wide receiver. So
the Steelers they're like an insane asylum. Every receiver that comes out of there is the same mold. They're always the exact
yeah,
same mold.
yeah,
It's kind of insane how they're like
that
they have
is
a 100% hit rate with nutcases at wide receiver.
that is kind of wild.
So then that means between Nico Collins and Chris Olave, who would you keep and who would you cut?
I mean, I feel like it's an obvious one. Let's be real.
Yeah,
You gotta keep Nico,
I
bro.
think Nico.
You
I
got
think
to
Nico.
keep Nico.
It's funny. It's
He,
funny because he's technically you would think he's kind of going in a more downward direction because of how the offense has been going with CJ Stroud, and technically Chris Olave just had the best season he's ever had. You know, with Tyler Shuck, it's looking pretty good.
yeah.
But Nico Collins is he's still such a good receiver.
I think that's just it. He's kind of one of those unicorn guys that I think will just always be good. He's been good ever since he popped off, like his second year on the team. He's been their clear-cut number one, and there's no changing that. Like, he's definitely the franchise guy. I don't know. I don't think you just can't really go wrong with Nico.
Yeah.
And Chris Olave, I think, is great too, but you do have to look at his team, right? And the struggles that they've had. There's a lot of uncertainty going into this year with the quarterback situation, how that's going to look. And they're just not really a competitive team. Coaching's all over the place. So because of that, like I think he's a great receiver, and I would love to keep him if I could, because you never know how a season would go. But yeah, I just don't think. And with his injury status, I don't know. It's just
I know. I know there is an injury scare to him. There is the sort of concussion problem. Everybody's talked about that from college. I'm not as worried about that as other people, but I can see where it comes from. But
mm,
I do really like Chris Olave this year. I still think Chris Olave. These guys are all potentially these guys are all top 10 this year. They were all top 10 last year pretty much. And this year
mhm,
they're on pace to do that again as long as they stay healthy. So
yeah,
you could really go either way with some of these guys. But yeah, I'd keep Nico. I'd cut
mhm,
Chris.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Let's do some tight ends.
yeah. Let's do it.
Keep, trade, cut. We got Oronde Gadsden, Kyle Pitts, Jake Ferguson.
Dude, this kind of
This
tough.
one's kind of tough. But I think I
Kinda
have one
tough.
in mind of who I want to keep.
I think I do too.
Give me
Honestly.
Oronde Gadsden.
Oh, I had a feeling you were going with that.
Dude, give me
that route.
Oronde. I think he's
Dude,
I,
go
I
for it.
don't know, man.
Why do you
He's
think?
so talented. I watched him
Yeah.
on the Chargers, and I didn't think anything would take my attention away from the Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey triangle. And then here comes
Yeah.
this big athletic tight end who is just so good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good at what he does. Yes, there's that competition, but is Keenan Allen coming back? We don't know. Is Quentin Johnston going to be the same guy? I don't know if he was ever just.
He will.
He will. He
He
will.
will. He'll be that guy.
But what makes
We'll
me
see,
the
though.
most excited is Mike McDaniel coming in to the Chargers. And we've seen what he's been able to do with tight ends back on Miami. What he was able to do with Darren Waller last season, and before that, what he did with Jonnu Smith. It seems like he does want to have tight end as a specific tool and facet within his style of offense. And with a guy like Gadsden, who is on paper better than both those guys, I will absolutely take that. I think if there is a good chance that he can be great long term, second year player, He could be your tight end for the next 5 to 7 years.
It's true. It's true. Now, I hear you, but I am going a different route on my keeper.
And who would that be?
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, let me just break down what I think really quick about Gadsden, because I hear all your points, and I do think he could be, a rising tight end moving forward based on how well he did last year. He just seems like an athletic freak, and he could do everything they need him to do. I still think there's too much competition, bro. With Trey Harris, who knows if Keenan Allen stays, Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnston, all of those guys. I think they just pass the ball around too much. And he could be their go-to guy if they set things up. But anyways, that's just my thing. I like this guy, Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
Because he has a clear role on his offense, and he's like proven to be Dak's like go-to guy next to CeeDee Lamb, pretty much. And if George Pickens is not there, then I think that's just going to continue. Like, I've always been a Jake Ferguson guy.
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, I'll give him a lot of credit because I doubted, and he came out and he definitely had his best season this last year. I think having both Pickens and CeeDee Lamb to take eyes off him certainly helped. Maybe it's just because I'm not a huge Jake Ferg guy. Maybe that's just what keeps holding me back.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just never fully sold on him, and it didn't help that, and I know this happened to Gadsden too, but it didn't help that Jake Ferguson did kind of fall off the second half of last year for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. It was definitely the targets were there though. That's my main thing is like he's always had that consistent target share.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going away. So and that's not the same for Gadsden. So
I think that's a very fair point.
We'll see.
I think we're both talking about in between keeping cut there. I think Kyle Pitts is a perfect trade here.
Yeah.
Here's something we can't agree with. We're not huge Kyle Pitts guys. Right?
No, yeah, I don't think so.
No, we're not.
He's failed us too much, for sure. He's failed everybody.
He's failed everybody too much, but he came out and he had that season where he was, statistically by the end of the year, second best overall tight end. And that's mostly due to one game. But in the fantasy offseason, a lot of people forget a lot of things. So if you just keep telling people, hey, Kyle Pitts was the second best tight end last year, somebody's going to buy it. Somebody's going to buy it and somebody's going to take him. Could he have the best season, again, of his career with Kevin Stefanski there? Very possibly. That's definitely up there. And I think he's worthy of being top 10 tight end. But if you look at it, there wasn't much difference last year between like the fourth best tight end and the 12th. There was very little wiggle room. And I think Kyle Pitts would have fell somewhere in there if it weren't for that one game.
I agree. It's definitely that one game, and he probably had like a couple others on the season that were all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just seems like they've had so many chances to use him like that, and it just doesn't happen for whatever reason. Maybe it's him, maybe it's the coaches, the quarterback not looking, or whatever. But yeah, I feel like he should definitely be established by now, and the simple fact that he isn't makes me think it's just always going to be kind of inconsistent. I just can't rely on that, Yeah. So I've never been a big Kyle Pitts guy, just because I haven't seen much,
I'll tell you one right
and
here.
it sucks.
I think we both set that up very well. I think that was an interesting discussion. I think you could choose one side or the other. How about we make it a little harder though? Let's do one where it's not just all clear one cut position. It's not everyone is a
Mhm.
different position, but how about between Malik Nabers, Omarion Hampton, and Ashton Jeanty?
Mm,
This
wow.
one I went back and forth on in my head quite a bit. Even right now,
Yeah.
I'm not 100%, but I think I'm forming an idea.
Mm, I I think I got it too.
All right. How about this? On three.
Okay.
Actually, no, no, no. We're not going to do it. I was going to say on three, we say the same thing. But no, if we say the same thing at the same time, our mics are going to get distorted. So you say your first thing, and then I'll say mine. Who are
Well,
you
how
get?
about this? How about
Who are you
this?
thinking of keeping?
Um, what if we hold a number up, right?
Okay,
1 for Malik, 2 for Hampton, 3 for Jeanty.
I like that idea.
Okay.
And we'll
All right,
say,
ready?
who are you going to keep on three? One,
Okay.
two, three.
Oh,
Mmm.
interesting.
Mmm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I'm keeping Jeanty here. I think it's important to keep a stronger running back over strong receivers because I think it's easier to find
Yeah.
receivers in some places. But
Mm,
Jeanty, even though I mean, I made a whole short about this. Jeanty's season was not as bad as everybody remembers it to be. We were just overhyped him too much, and he was never going to reach those
yeah,
expectations on a
I
team
agree.
that was that bad. That was
Sure.
that bad. But he was still
Yeah.
RB14. He was still a somewhat decent RB2 on the season. But
Mm-hmm.
now he's coming in, and we got Clint Kubiak. Got our guy, and he's now their guy, and he's now running the run game. And unless he does something crazy like draft another running back in the draft, which we've heard from some places that he might be thinking about doing a committee, so hopefully not. But if he decides no, no, we're gonna keep this ship, we're gonna keep this going with just Jeanty. I
Mm,
think he has the highest ceiling here of the players. I think he's the
fair.
most talented player. I think he's more talented than Omarion Hampton. And I don't think Omarion Hampton
Yeah.
now holds that spot of him of, oh, he catches passes. No, Ashton Jeanty showed last season he can catch passes. It was a
Yeah.
part of his repertoire. It's a part of his game.
Mm-hmm.
They spent this season building up some parts of the line. They got Tyler Lindenbaum. They got the center, the middle of the line. I think he will be better this season. I think he will definitely be top 10. How far he will go, I'm not 100% sure. But that's who I'm sold on.
Jeanty. Yeah. I'm with you, man. I yeah, I totally hear that. And I feel like let me tell you why I think Neighbors is my guy.
Yeah.
Because I think there's an argument for both. And I like what you said about Jeanty. But I would say that I would rather have a very valuable wide receiver than running back just because the um the barrier for injury is so much higher for running backs, if that
Mm,
makes sense.
yeah, I can see it.
I think I think so, like, this is why wide receivers get paid more than running backs is because there's more chance that they're going to get injured, you know, 1 year versus wide receivers. And I don't know, I just think that though it is harder to find good running backs, because there's always a plethora of wide receivers that can be up and coming and rookie guys, and there's like 3 starting wide receivers on a team and 1 starting running back, you know, generally. I just think Malik Nabers could be that guy, honestly. I think he
Yeah.
could be like the next um Nico Collins, Amon Ra type guy. And that's just it. I think he commands the ball. And as much as I like Ashton and Omarion, I do not like Ashton Jeanty's team. Still, it's
Yeah.
still concerning to me.
I get it.
Low
It's
key, I know that like they will lean on him and they should, but it's still like I would rather go with the Giants and take a risk on Malik having that connection with Jaxson Dart because there's no other wide receivers on the team, bro.
if I can at least
So
add an extra layer of discussion.
I go for it.
If we're talking about injuries, I mean, you have to bring up Malik Nabers' injury history so far in his first couple
Yeah,
years. Like he has shown that he got a lot, he got hurt a lot in his first year, and he did tear his
that's true.
ACL in the second year. I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
fair.
fair play.
No, yeah, you're
But you're
right.
right though, because
You have to
he
mention it.
does look like he can be a guy on that next level. I mean, coming out of
Mhm.
that draft class, he seems like he could be the best receiver out of that whole class. And by the way it's
Yeah,
going, it might not even be close because he's starting to leap way above the others now. But
yeah,
I think it's just
yeah, exactly. And
it's harder to find great running backs.
mm,
For me, I think it's hard to find great running backs and great wide receivers. I think you can
yeah,
always seemingly find a nugget of a good wide receiver somewhere. You can luck into one.
that's true. That's true.
And Amarion,
That's true. But there's a difference in the elite guys that they're separated um, from the rest of the pack. But I know what you're saying,
yeah.
and I agree. I agree.
And Amarion kind of I just want to see a little bit more. There I could have used the same reasoning I did with Oronde Gadsden of like, oh, Mike McDaniel's there and he made Devon Achane into a star. He's going to make Omarion
Mhm.
Hampton into a star.
Mhm.
I just didn't see a lot of Omarion Hampton in his season before all the injuries took him over. Uh, I didn't see anything that like really impressed me. At least with Jeanty, I saw some games, I saw some moments where it's like that's the Jeanty I saw in Boise State.
Mm.
But I don't know. He could come out and be great, and he could be really really good. But for now, I think I would trade Malik and cut Hampton of this group. I think we should do one more. And I think with one more, this will be interesting because I think this is a discussion some people will have within their own leagues, within a couple of guys on their rosters. We have a keep trade cut between Bhayshul Tuten, David Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard.
Oh,
And I think this
yeah.
one's really interesting because some people might be struggling with this in their own mind.
Mm.
Initial instinct makes me think I want to keep Bhayshul Tuten. But that's just the young, that's just me looking at the young guy
Mm.
with all the speed and flashy potential. But we're filming this before the draft has happened. We have no idea if the Jaguars are going to go after a
Oh
running
yeah,
back in the draft, which would
yeah.
derail everything.
Right.
With David Montgomery and with Chuba Hubbard, you know that they're pretty secure.
Mm-hmm.
Chuba Hubbard ain't going anywhere. Their Panthers aren't probably drafting another running back. And the Texans traded to get Montgomery from the Lions, who's now going to have a backfield to himself on a worse team, but now it's all his. So,
Okay, dude. I think I think I would keep Chuba.
you would keep Chuba. Wow.
Yeah,
I
man.
would.
And let me tell you. Let me quickly tell you why. It's because, in my opinion, he's the safest guy, um, in terms of like no competition on his team.
Hmm.
David Montgomery has that has Woody Marks behind him, and Bhayshul is I think he's just risky. He doesn't have competition, but in the drafts, you don't know what could happen, and also he just to me, I don't know if he's proven to be that every down back, you know.
Yeah.
He seems like kind of a smaller guy. So I'm just not too sure there. So that's why, yeah, man, I think Chuba with Rico Dowdle out of there, I think Chuba's going to take
Hey
over.
man, don't diss those Jonathan Brooks faithfuls. Oh, he's gonna come back. Oh, have you been hearing it?
Him.
Oh, they're like, oh, he's
You're
gonna
right.
come back and he's gonna be great.
Have they been saying that?
Dude, some people have legit been saying that
recently.
Recently, yes.
Wow.
Which is
That's
it's crazy to me. Chuba Hubbard, if we're talking out of Dynasty for a moment, I think right now he's like one of the last starting running backs taken. He's like running back 30 off the board. So in terms of redraft, like great value.
Yeah.
But if
we're not talking dynasty here, just like in general.
This could be in general, just in general of a player. I think hypothetical. This is before the draft. I would try to trade Bhayshul Tuten. Bhayshul Tuten.
Yeah,
but I would keep David Montgomery.
I
think I would keep him because I'm invested in him, and I think he is a great player. Maybe not amazing long term. Maybe like, you know, in a few years from now, his body starts to wear down and he's not that same player. But I've seen Joe Mixon do pretty well under that terrible offensive line. And David Montgomery, what they need is a guy that can actually, you know, get more yards after contact. And David Montgomery is as good as anybody at that. If they rearrange the offensive line, like I think is what they were doing when they moved around the Texans' offensive pieces, I think they're going to go for a more of a ground game first operation. That's just my theory from how they set up their offensive line, because they traded away some pieces that were actually good pass blockers, which doesn't make any sense to me unless you're changing up how you separate the offense because you have a new offensive coordinator there. So for me, even if it's just for a season, I'd play it safe and I'd go David Montgomery. Although if I did have Bhayshul Tuten on any of my rosters, I feel like I'd be more biased and want to keep him. Just because it's fun.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun.
It is fun. It's intriguing. The faith that they presumably have in him. We'll see what happens there. That's so you would drop Chuba. That's pretty crazy.
I would probably drop Chuba. I don't know. There was something about the fact that he so easily let his job get taken over for half the year. He did kind of lose his job.
He really did.
He really did.
He actually did.
Yeah. And somehow, the amazing part is he somehow got it back. That's the most amazing part of the whole thing.
I know, it's so confusing, and it's not like he had a good year. You know, I mean, he was hurt, and then for a little bit, then he came back and he was splitting. So that's why, in my mind, I just think he's gonna be just how he was before they picked up Rico.
Yeah,
which was killer.
Dude, it's the Panthers, man. They're an enigma. You don't know if they're good. You don't know if they're bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough every week.
A risky play. Yeah.
but that's probably gonna do it. Just remember to stay simple. In a complex fantasy world, just remember to stay simple.
Stay simple, guys.
Good night, everyone. God bless.
All right.